All right, joining me now is Robert Ray, former Whitewater independent counsel, and John Eastman, Claremont Institute senior fellow and constitutional scholar. John, the Democrats and the media were sure, just like in all these other predictions that were flops, as I just pointed out, they were sure that yesterday's McGahn ruling would compel John Bolton to testify. And then, Bolton's lawyer says, not so fast. Democrats, again, are having to chase the Roadrunner and are going to end up with the TNT blowing up in their faces.
Well, the judge made very, very clear that although the top White House officials don't have absolute immunity from even showing up to testify, that they can claim executive privilege in response to specific questions anytime a question of executive privilege arises, and even have the White House current counsel there to advise them when to assert executive privilege. So, you know, it may have sounded like a win, but they obviously didn't get past page 2 or 3 of the 120-page opinion.
But hold on, I'm talking about Bolton. This is something that takes that analysis to the next step, Robert Ray. They thought John Bolton was going to be, again, the nirvana in this whole, impeachment quest that they have. But Bolton's lawyers, they don't seem like they're in any rush to get up there to testify, get him up there to testify either. So they're either really bad at making predictions, or they don't know the law, or they don't know how to read an opinion, or that the opinion's limited to a certain set of special facts. I don't know what it is, but it's getting embarrassing now how repeatedly wrong the Democrats are on a myriad of issues.
Well, it's also only one judge, as you know, Laura, which means that it's not binding on Bolton. I mean, let's just start with the very basics right there. And then the second thing is that the decision already has been appealed. A notice of appeal was filed today with a request for a stay. I imagine we'll see that possibly as early as tomorrow, either by the district judge or if the district judge doesn't do it, the D.C. Circuit is likely to do it for her. So what that means is that on this timetable, there's no way you're going to have a decision from the D.C. Circuit that will make any difference anyway.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, and I'm going to get to Nadler in a minute, John, but it's the same thing. The Supreme Court yesterday, through Chief Justice Roberts, issued a temporary stay in that financial records case, which was another attempt by the Democrats, they thought, to, throw a wrench into Trump's reelection bid. Though we're going to get all these records, and it's going to look bad, or I don't know what they think. But they've been in this, again, this tilting at windmills approach to Trump. And at some point, they should just do better policy, but that's too hard for them.
They need to reread Article 1. The legislative power is not to go fishing all the time, and yet that seems to be what they're doing.
All right, I want to move to this issue of Jerry Nadler, because today Chairman Nadler of the Judiciary Committee invited President Trump, very nice of him, of the holidays, and his lawyers to testify. But he also fired a warning shot, writing the following, guys. While we invite you to this hearing, we remind you that if you continue to refuse to make witnesses and documents available to the committees of jurisdiction, the chair will have the discretion to impose appropriate remedies. I'm sorry, my stomach is hurting because I was laughing so hard about this earlier. John, I mean, I don't know what Nadler's threatening here, but how should the White House respond to that?
Well, they ought to just say, go ahead, bring another suit, and we'll take it up to the Supreme Court again. There's a thing that Mr. Nadler seems to forget called separation of powers. The executive doesn't work for the legislature. This is not a parliamentary system we have. Yes, they have oversight ability, but these fishing expeditions, with obvious political motivations to try and dig up dirt on their political opponent, I thought that was not what we're supposed to do as we got out of Adam Schiff's hearings.
John, one point, though, what is the, quote, penalty? He has to get a court to impose a penalty, correct, Robert Ray? It's a court. It's not like Nadler's going to get some U.S. Marshals to go over to the White House and slap manacles on the president and his counsel. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Does the man not know anything about the separation of powers?
Like what?
I'm beginning to wonder.
Yeah, when you look at the remedies, like what is he talking about?
Exactly.
And in any event, the executive branch has a much bigger police force than the Capitol Police serving the United States Congress. So I don't really understand. I mean, that's a pretty outrageous threat against the president, I have to say.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that, John.
There was a line in the district court opinion, though, that talked about inherent congressional power of contempt to jail people in a jail cell in the Capitol if they don't show up to testify in response to a subpoena. So perhaps that's what he's thinking about. But
Okay.
it would be fun to see them try that against the president of the United States.
Oh yeah, that Obama judge threw that one out there. I must have missed that in the slip opinion, John. Thank you. That's why you're a professor and I'm television host. All right, guys, thank you so much. Great to see you tonight. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.